Hello everybody and welcome. Thank you ever so much for your time in being here. Today we're live as usual. I do this every day. Part of my commitment going back to over 28 years helping small businesses. And what we're doing is basically doing this live on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm also live on my Results Mastery podcast, which is going out on iTunes, on Amazon Music, and over 30 other streaming sites. And that in itself just excites me and blows me away. We're actually being watched or listened to by somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 people. How cool is that? I think it's absolutely fantastic, and let's just hope that some of it rubs off and it makes a difference to people's business, because that's what it's all about. You can get on something like this and think, this guy Steve Mills, he seems okay, and he seems to know what he's talking about, and that was really interesting. Or you might think this is a load of rubbish. I don't know, but I hope not. But do you know what? Either way, either of those two things is not going to make any difference whatsoever until to your business. It's all about taking action. One of the keys to success, I believe, is to raise your standards, to work harder, to do more. In fact, if you said to me, what's the biggest reason for business failure, I'd be telling you that it's lack of cash, lack of sales, not making enough sales to sustain the business. That's the biggest reason, I believe, along with maybe overspending and not understanding the financial side and so on. But they're certainly the two of the biggest. And tomorrow, actually, I've got somebody coming on the program who's going to be talking about the financial side. He's an expert in that, and like me, been helping people for many, many years. So try and log into that if you can. But anyway, today we're talking about a real little niche, which is LinkedIn, but specifically LinkedIn groups. LinkedIn groups are the key, or one of the keys to winning business on LinkedIn. So we're going to be talking about that. But, it's really about, how do we get more sales into our business? So, without further ado, LinkedIn groups. Let me just talk to you about the groups to start with. So LinkedIn groups are a really useful way of being able to communicate with lots of people instantly. If you're on LinkedIn and you, like many of the businesses that I speak to, you've probably got just a few hundred people that you're connected to. But the truth is, your market could be many, many thousands of people. And so how are you going to speak to those people? How are you going to communicate? How are you going to get known? Well, one way would be through LinkedIn groups. What is a group? Well, it is what it says on the tin. It's a group of people, often with a common interest. Just like a Facebook group or any other group, it's a group of people who have something in common, some sort of interest. There are all sorts of groups on LinkedIn. There are actually, last time I looked, I think it was just over 2 million different groups. So you've got a lot of choice, and you're allowed to join, I think it's 100 groups. It used to be 50, but I noticed recently they've increased that. However, my advice to you, if you've not really done that much on groups on LinkedIn, is to really focus. You probably, unless you're really, really committed to doing lots of work and lots of time, you're probably not going to be able to cope with the necessary marketing in 100 groups. That's going to take you, I don't know, I'm going to say at least an hour a day. So that may or may not be possible. If you've got a team of a LinkedIn team working for you, and you allocate one of them to be a full-time member of, doing groups, then, perhaps that's an option. But, for most people, doing it on their own, probably better to think about, right, what are the top 10 groups that I'm going to really focus on? So the first thing to think about then is exactly that. What are the top 10 groups that I'm going to focus on? And there's a couple of issues with groups or things to be aware of. Firstly, the size of the group, that matters. Do you want to be in a big group with, some of the groups are 1 million, 2 million people, maybe 100,000 people, and so on and so forth? Or do you want to be in a smaller group? And like most things in life, there are pros and cons to that. Being in a big group means that you can get a message out to lots of people. Being in a small group means it's easier to sort of raise your head above the crowd and to get known. So there are sort of pros and cons to both. Now, the pros and cons to groups as a whole are this, that, it's great to join a group with 1 million people and to go and post in there, but, you're never going to get 1 million people seeing your post. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you're probably going to get something like 0.1% of people seeing your post. But when you're looking at 1 million people, that's still a lot, isn't it? Let me just work this out. Is 1% of 1 million 1,000 people? It's 1,000,000, so I think that's about right. 1%? No, it's more than that, isn't it? It's 10,000. Is it 1%? Yeah, 1% must be 10,000 people. So 0.1% is 1,000 people. So that ain't too bad, is it? Getting 1,000, going onto a group, posting something and getting 1,000 people. And even if it's only a few hundred people, it's still, you're getting your name out there, you're getting seen and overcoming what is, I believe, one of the biggest problems that is faced by small business owners right now, and that is the word obscurity. We're not known, we're not Apple, we're not Vodafone, we're not Coca-Cola, we're not a worldwide brand, we're not even a massive brand maybe in our target market, but what we can do is to get our name and our face out there within groups on LinkedIn in order to try and improve that. So whether you're going for a big group or a small group is up to you. The next thing to think about is what type of group. Some people make the mistake of joining groups like them. For example, I had an accountant on my LinkedIn workshop a little while ago, and he joined loads of accountancy groups. So basically, he was networking. He was in a group full of his competitors, which is great from a point of view of sharing best practice, maybe getting, recruiting accountants and things like that if you want to do that. But from a point of view of him winning business, there was very little chance of him, as an accountant winning another accountant as business. So, he really needed to look at what he was doing and decide what his objectives are. And if his objectives are to win business, then he needs to, go and think about what he's doing in terms of that. So, that being the case, think about the type of the type of group you want to join. Do you want to join a local group? Like, say, for example, the Isle of Wight Business Group, that's where I live, or the London Business Group, or the UK Business Group? Or perhaps you want to go for, something bigger, like the Small Business Group, or the Business Network, or something like that. So it depends on what you want to try to achieve. There are also lots of interest groups. So, for example, you could join the Pet Lovers Group. If you sold things into pet owners, you could do that. If you had a website that sold worldwide, I think there was something like, last time I looked, that group had about 80,000 members. And that was a good few years ago, actually. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's grown significantly since then. If you wanted to join a a supporters group. I'll give you an example. I'm a member of the Sheffield Wednesday supporters group, and and that's fine, and it's there for Sheffield Wednesday supporters to share best practice and network together, and I have actually won business from it, so that's really cool. And but there's loads and loads of different groups on there, and it's well worth going and having a little look, a little nosy round to see what you can see. So I'm going to, if I may, just take a little look and go and show you a couple of things if I can. So I'm going to go into share screen. I'm going to go into LinkedIn groups. Hopefully you could see this. Okay, I'm going to click here. So I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see my screen. So you should be able to sort of see my screen on my screen. If I click that, you should be able to see that now. So I'm hallucinating that you can. So just to clarify, groups you find here, you click on the 9 dots, click that, and it brings up a list of all your groups. These are the groups that I'm in. The strategy here is a couple of things. Let me just show you. So I'm going to go into this one, the Thames Valley Business Network. So when you're a member, which often you have to apply to be a member, but when you are a member, you can do two main things. You can go in here and you can post something. You can tell people about something that would be of value to those people. So you can, generally speaking, in groups, it's not always good to be too salesy, but I might say something like, if you're looking to grow your business, I've just produced a video. In it, I talk about the 7 keys to on-page search engine optimization, and I thought you might find it of interest. So what am I doing? I'm trying to demonstrate my expertise. I'm trying to hopefully impress people, and at the same time to help people, which is what me and my business are all about. I can add media, I can celebrate an occasion if I want, and I can share that I'm hiring and so on and so forth. So I can upload a document, I can do various things here, but essentially that's basically what I want to do. So that's okay. That's worth it. That's going to go out to, if I posted that's going to go out to 2,433 members, which is okay. But the other thing that's really useful is this. See here? So we've got all these members, show all. If I click on that, what it's going to do is exactly that. It's going to show all the members, okay? So I can go here, I can see certain people are what's known as firsts, so they're already connected to me. Here we've got a second, Steve Wilson here, Adrian McMahon, and I look at these people and I go, do you know what? Who'd be a good contact for me? So for me, it's often like managing directors of businesses, small businesses. I'm just looking here to see. There we go. We've got Richard here, Richard Gillespie. So what can I do with Richard? Well, I can send him a message. He's already a contact of mine, I've just realised. Let's just take Nicola here, all right? So let's assume that Nicola, I think, would be a good contact for me. I could just send her a message because we're both in the same group, or I could try and connect to her. So I can go in here, I can have a look at who she is and her background and so on and so forth. I could follow her, but really, I'd rather get to connect to her. Now it says that I just connect if we know each other. Now I don't know Nicola, so how I do that is I'd still go in here and then I'd add a note in here, and it would go something like this. Hi Nicola, my name's Steve Mills. We don't know each other, but I'd still like to connect to you on LinkedIn because... And then I've got to come up with some plausible reason why we should connect. Because we're both in the Thames Valley Business Group. Because you're like this and I'm like that. because I think we could help each other in some way. Because I want to network with people within the Reading area and so on and so forth. So I come up with some plausible, a good reason why, and then I can ask her to connect. And if she connects, great. And if she doesn't, that's not a problem. Now, obviously, with this, this is it's not a big group, but there's nearly 2,500 members. So what we don't want to do is just go, excuse me, connect, just connect with everybody. We need to select the people, and make sure we connect into the right people and not just, this is not about bragging rights. This is just a way of growing your database here. Now, the other thing you can do if you want, I could just go through and message people. Hi, Steve. Steve Mills here. We're both in the Thames Valley Business Group, and I wanted to let you know that I'm running a free online LinkedIn live session tomorrow on finance. I thought you might find it of interest. Please let me know, or please click this link if you'd like to attend. So I just go through and invite a load of people here, potentially 2,500 of them, maybe some copying and pasting involved in here, but, it's reasonably easy to do and, well worth thinking about doing for you. So that's it, I think. I don't think there's anything else. Let me just come back over here. And stop the sharing. So should be back. So that's it. How are we doing? We're on 18 minutes. So I normally try and limit it to 15. So we're slightly over, but hopefully the extra few minutes was worth you being here. Just want to say, if you want to book a meeting, use the link here. Actually, use the link. Where is it? No, it's not there. It's not there. There. It's really weird because it's like the opposite way around. Use that link, steve-mills.com, and you can book a free meeting with me. I won't be hard selling you or anything like that. All I'll be doing is talking to you about your business, about your marketing, perhaps about LinkedIn and what you're doing, and trying to help you. And for me, it's just about demonstrating my expertise. And if you want more help, let me know, and I'll talk to you about what I can do from there. I hope that sounds fair. Thank you very much for listening. I'd love it if you'd share this recording with others so that we can help even more people. And don't forget, I'm doing this every day, so if you want to attend any sessions, feel free to do so. Thanks very much for listening. welcome. Thank you ever so much for your time in being here today.